Hey everybody, Watsin from Watson's Funhouse here, and I figured I would go ahead and give doing a Raw recap a try. I've never done this before, so please be gentle, but yeah, I figured I'd start trying to do this, and it'll be just another thing that I have to keep improving at over time. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Recapping the December 11th edition of Monday Night Raw. The show starts out, Joe is in the ring. He says that he is not impressed. Basically, to sum it all up, he said that he's not impressed. While he's talking, it keeps cutting back to Seth Rollins. Well, it cuts backstage, I should say. First to Seth, Dean walks up to him. Seth looks at him and says, "Go get the big dog." Joe's in the ring. He had been calling out Roman because he wants that Intercontinental title. He's choked him out so many times, and that's just how he feels. He goes on to say if it weren't for the Shield, Reigns would be nothing. I thought that was kind of fun because it's slightly true. Without the Shield, he gets booed. As we've seen, I don't think it's so bad anymore. I think the fans are starting to come around, but cuts backstage again. Reigns says he's got this. He comes out. A big brawl ensues. I should note that whenever Joe was calling him out, he said, "Not the Shield, nobody else, just me and you." Well, they start this brawl, and then the bar run out, and they start wailing on Roman, and Joe ends up with him in the coquina clutch. Dean and Seth run out, they put up a fight, but then they get wrecked by Joe in the bar. I thought this was interesting. You almost expect the Shield to run in and for them to clear house, and it's a feel-good moment. Oh, yay, we beat up the heels. Nope, not this time. It's looking like Joe's going to be the one that's going to take the IC title. If not, he's going to be one of the big ones along the way. We don't really have too much time, so I mean, I guess there's more than enough time for it to build up to that, but I don't see Roman, and he probably will, just because I think that he won't. I don't see Roman holding both belts at the same time, Intercontinental and World, and their plan is to put the belt on Roman again, clearly. So that's what we get. Anyways, after that, next, Bayley is out with Mickie James and Sasha Banks. It's Mickie and Bayley tonight against Paige and Mandy Rose. Whenever Absolution go to come out, Paige is on the mic. She says the Absolution train is plowing through them tonight. In not so many words, she said it differently, but that was the gist of it. Mandy gets on the mic. She's very wooden. Sonya's a little bit worse though. She said this phrase that made me automatically think, wow, WWE writing at its finest. She said, "Put your hair up and square up," which I guess that's not that bad considering her gimmick. Anyways, the match, it wasn't bad, just wasn't anything special. Paige as a heel is fun. There was a point in the match where she powdered and she yelled, "No!" That's my Paige powdering impression. No. Anyway, so I think it's weird that Mandy was in the match and not Sonya, because I feel like Sonya is the better ring worker of the two. But it was okay. She had a cool knee on Bayley, I believe it was. So credit to her for that. It might have been Mickie, now that I'm thinking about it. Doesn't matter. It was a nice knee, and good on her for that. Paige becomes legal again. She ends up hitting rapid knees in between she gets Bayley between the ropes. She hits these rapid fire knees, lets out a old school Paige war cry. She goes to the well with the knees one more time. This time Bayley catches it, and she sends her face first. At this point, it had to have been Bayley, because this is the part where Bayley makes the hot tag. Absolutely no reaction, not even lukewarm. It was ugly. Whenever Mickie came in, she gets like no reaction anymore. It's actually kind of sad because she's really good and she deserves more respect than that. But yeah, so that happens. The finish comes when Mickie sets up for the Mickie T, the DDT she does on Paige. Oh, no. On Mandy, rather. And then Paige hits a super kick, which allows Mandy to get the pin. Absolution wins, and no beatdown this week. I almost anticipated the beatdown. Moving on, Bray Wyatt is here, but so is Woken Matt. Oh yeah. Bray says some Bray things. Matt keeps interrupting him. He's being awesome. I loved it. I love how their characters gel together, and it looks like they're giving it a bit of backstory so that the feud actually means more. So I'm with that. Matt tells us that Sister Abigail is the spirit inside Bray's vessel, and that the spirit has lived on for eternity, and that he's preparing the Woken army for deletion. I know, that probably sounded horrible. I'm looking at the audio waves right now. Super red. Good, great segment. Good character development, if that's what's really going on here. And, yeah, I kind of look forward to this feud going places. Maybe even an alliance between the two at some point in time. Only time can tell. Don't want to rush it and fantasy book too much, because you never know. After that, it's Cruiserweight time. Enzo's backstage with Drew Gulak. Gulak lets us know that WWE revoked Swan's title shot opportunity. Ouch. Ouch. Well, with everything we know now, that obviously that's what's going to happen. They begin having a conversation between Enzo and Gulak, and Gulak says, well, aren't you worried about who wins tonight, or something like that. The topic of who wins tonight and who Enzo's going to face comes up. Enzo starts listing off pretty much the entire 205 Live roster, and he throws Nia Jax's name in there. So, he's crushing. Love is in the air for Enzo Amore, and I'm all for it. After that, we cut back to the ring. The next matchup is Finn Balor versus Curtis Axel. I have here in my notes, Axel's neck brace is hilarious. Why not? It's something, it's a gimmick, why not do it? But I had to cross it out because right as I wrote that down, he goes and takes his neck brace off. So there goes that. One interesting thing about Curtis Axel, gone. But as he takes it off, he and Bo Dallas, they double team Finn for a minute. I like that they added that in the beginning because going into the match, you automatically know Curtis Axel is almost guaranteed to lose this match. So it's kind of cool that they didn't make it your typical squash match. They kind of gave him a little bit of offense and stuff like that through the double team at the beginning. I dug it. Finn wins with he hits the sling blade, hits the drop kick, he hits the coup de grace, and gets the 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor's your winner on that one. Seth and Sheamus is next, but not before we get a Kane promo. He says some Kane things about enjoying his match with Braun because they're both monsters. He's going to bask in fighting another monster, pretty much is what he said, but he's going to win, and then he's going to go on to face Brock Lesnar. Okay. So then we finally get to the Seth Rollins versus Sheamus match. Everybody's banned from ringside whenever it's the Shield versus the Bar and Samoa Joe, apparently. The match, it was what you would expect from them. There had been some talk of Sheamus being hurt. I personally couldn't tell. He didn't bump too much, though. Sheamus worked on the knee a lot in the match, and Seth sold it really well. Eventually, Seth hit the spin-out knee for the win, and it was acceptable. For a Raw match, you can't really ask for too much more than what these guys have been giving us lately, honestly. I mean, maybe, but maybe not. You know, it's different. It's different. We go backstage again. Dean's backstage with Renee Young. Weird. He says he's overheated, he's overexcited, and he's ready for Samoa Joe. And, yeah. That's a match. That's happening. So then, go to commercial. When we come back, it's the Cruiserweight Fatal 4-Way. Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander versus Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari. Gulak's on commentary. He's so underrated on the mic, man. Just absolutely entertaining. I can't get enough of the guy. He's goofy when he's supposed to be. He's funny. He's obnoxious when he needs to be. He does everything you could ask for on the microphone, in my opinion. It was a really great match. Too bad the crowd goes dead every time. Every time the Cruiserweights come out on Raw, dead crowd, guaranteed, for no reason. Great wrestling. Makes me miss the feeling that the WCW Cruiserweights gave me back whenever I used to watch that. These guys worked so hard. I can't stress that enough. A lot of extremely close falls in this match. Cedric Alexander wins after hitting a lumbar check on Daivari. It will now be Gulak versus Cedric for the number 1 contendership next Monday. Gotta pay some bills for a second, and then we come back to Enzo Amore backstage with Gulak. We're getting like gallons of Gulak this week. It's amazing. Gulak says he's number 1 contender. He's 1 win away from beating Enzo Amore for the title. Enzo goes instant heel. He takes his Carnation instant heel, and he says that they aren't friends and that he works for them. And he starts ragging on the PowerPoint presentations. He says that there's one word to describe them, and then they're interrupted, and it's Nia Jax. And she's talking to them super casual, and she looks at Gulak and she says, "Hey Drew, I love your PowerPoint presentations." And classic Enzo turns right around about face, and he goes, "Yeah, I was just telling him how great they were." Epic. Heel Enzo is the man. I love this angle. I'm just going to say that. Next up, we got Cesaro versus Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a good back and forth match. At one point, Cesaro was just being vicious on Roman's arms. He was just elbows and strikes, and then he put him in a Fujiwara armbar. But after that, they go outside of the ring, and Roman hits the drive-by. Gets a 2 count. Goes for the Superman punch, but it's blocked from where Cesaro was working over the shoulder and the arm. And he blocks it, then he puts him in a crippler crossface. Reigns gets out of it eventually, but he gets sent into the ring post, which sends him to the outside. Cesaro follows him to the outside. Reigns starts mounting a comeback, ends up hitting a Superman punch off of the ring steps that could have looked really cool. I think he was just a hair off with it from it being like super awesome. But he gets a 2 count, then he sets up for the spear, gets countered by Cesaro. Cesaro hits him with that pop-up uppercut, gets a 2 count, a long 2 count. Immediately takes him right into the crossface, and that's a spot that I really liked, because it was like he didn't do anything else. He took him straight into the crossface. Simple and awesome. And that's how it happens. Then we get a counterfest. A lot of, I don't know how you would put it. Eventually, Reigns ends it with a sit-out powerbomb. He gets a 2 count. And then we get an actual "This is awesome" chant in a Roman Reigns match. I guess that's not too far-fetched. Roman's not terrible in the ring. He's just not likable. And that's always the thing. They get into a dogfight real quick on their knees. Cesaro goes uppercut crazy in the corner. Pulls Reigns out. Goes to set up for the neutralizer. Back body drop. Reigns with the spear for the 3 count. Roman wins. He celebrates in the ring. Hooray, Roman Reigns. I don't know. I really wish that Intercontinental title was freed up for somebody else, but I get it. I understand. After that, we cut back to Braun Strowman cutting a promo on Kane. He says, "You crushed my throat." And then he goes, "Kane, you're the only thing standing in my way, but not for long." It's like Ultimate Warrior, but twice as awesome. After that, we get more words from our sponsors. Then we come back. Asuka is out to face Alicia Fox, but except no, she's not, because Absolution comes out. They had beat up Foxy. Apparently, is what I got from it. Alicia Fox really didn't sell it. They showed her on the big screen talking to one of the trainers, I'm thinking. And she's like, I can't go out. But she didn't look too hurt. She wasn't selling it really good. But hey, I'll roll with it. They beat her up. Why not? Paige says Asuka is in the way. Not even Asuka can stop them. She either moves out of the way or they make her move. Funny that there's two You're in My Way promos from two separate entities back to back. They surround the ring. Asuka strikes first. She takes out Rose and Sonya. Gets Paige in an arm bar. But the number games catch up to her until the women's division makes the save. Paige and Sonya Bell. They leave Mandy Rose open for a beatdown with man. And everybody was out there. You got Nia out there. Asuka hit like a spinning back fist. I forget who else hit her with something, but they got a couple licks in, and then she makes an escape. And Absolution powder away, back up the ramp. We go backstage to Kurt Angle. He needs the ring reinforced for the main event tonight because last time Braun and Kane fought each other in a one-on-one, they went through the ring, except that's not true, but whatever. I mean, they did go through the ring. It wasn't the last time they fought, though. But anyways, Jason Jordan walks in. He takes some digs at Kurt for not booking him against Joe. He says that he's the only one that can beat Joe. Kurt reminds him, while he had some close calls with some very big names, he did not beat them. There's a difference between almost and winning. So he explains his side, and then Jason Jordan puts on his pouty face, and he says, "Okay, Dad," or should I say, "Okay, Kurt." I'm all aboard on this heel turn. I can't stand the guy. Not as a worker, but I can't stand him in a good way. So, good on you, Jason Jordan. Turn heel. Do it. Next up is Ambrose versus Joe. First time ever. Not gonna lie, I missed a couple minutes of this match. Whenever I came in, Jason Jordan was watching from the ramp on a chair. Ambrose and Joe were going at it for a minute until Joe taunts Jordan, so he comes to ringside, which allows Dean Ambrose to get the schoolboy 2 count. They end up on the outside. Jordan helps Dean back into the ring, at which point Joe locks in a coquina clutch on Jason Jordan, and Dean hits them both with a suicide dive. So then the finish came a little bit after that, where Dean ends up with the pin after doing the weird elbow thing off the top rope. And, God, I really wish I knew the name for that now. But he gets a 2 because Jordan had the referee distracted. So he gets a 2 on that. Dean's pissed. He goes outside. He's saying the words with Jason Jordan. Samoa Joe with a Samoan suicide dive because he's Samoan. I tried to save that sentence. It didn't really work out. I hope you understand. So, Joe ends up, he hits a senton splash on Jason Jordan on the outside, goes back to the inside with Dean Ambrose, locks in the coquina clutch, and that was the end of that. After that match, we cut backstage. Little quick snippet. Dana Brooks in the Titus brand now, apparently. They're saying that she's in charge of research or something like that, which prompts Gallows and Anderson to walk up because Titus Brand are nerds, but then they all scramble because Big Bad Braun's on his way to the ring for the main event. And let me tell you, this main event. So it's Braun versus Kane. It's Monster versus Monster. And it's for the number 1 contendership, obviously, because the scrap plans for the Finn Balor match. If Braun isn't over with you, he is with me, damn it. And that's all that matters. To me, Braun's dropkick will always impress me. He hit it on Kane tonight. It was pretty awesome. Really short match if you think about it. Kane hits the chokeslam for 2. So what's he do? He hits another one and gets another 2 count. Braun chokeslams Kane. He gets a 2 as well. To the outside with him where they fight into the crowd. Braun clotheslines Kane through the barricade, and that's when the match is ruled a double countout. So now there's no winner. I'm guessing that's to set up a triple threat for the pay-per-view. Just to keep things, I don't know, not fresh, but not a repeat of a singles match between Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. And that kind of gives... I'm assuming Kane's going to take the loss because that protects Braun, so that makes sense. I would go with that too. They keep brawling. They both grab the ring steps and they collide with them. Maybe it didn't make sense, but it looked cool as shit. That's actually in my notes. Braun gets the table. Kane hits Braun in the knee with a chair and follows up with more shots with the chair. Kane sets up the table and then a double down spot, because that's what we want, a double down. Kane sits up, then Braun sits up, and they stare at each other for a second, and Kane backs off. But sneaky Kane is sneaky, and he grabs for a choke slam. But Braun is just too much for him. He counters it into a running power slam through the table, and that's how our show ends. I'm really excited because this triple threat could probably be a really good match on this Royal Rumble card. I'm looking forward to that. I love Braun Strowman. Overall, I'd say this Raw was decent. It gets repetitive whenever you see the Bar taking on anybody in the Shield now. I liked how Absolution didn't go out super dominant again this week, because it's time for that to stop a little bit. Just kind of slow it down, because they're ripping through everybody too fast and you got to protect Asuka. Again, really big on Drew Gulak. And let's see. The main event was pretty awesome considering what it was. It was what it was supposed to be. So yeah, go ahead. You already know what to do. Jump in the comments section. Let me know what you thought of this week's Monday Night Raw. I kind of ran through it a little bit fast, I know. But thank you for watching. And like I said, be gentle, guys. I'm still working to get better at this. Thank you.